What's up, everybody? It is the off season and it is Tuesday. So, you know what that means? CassMac chats are back. Um, so, we have a lot of news to get to, but hopefully, get some people on here real quick. Let me share it. Let me share this real quick. And yes, I do have the sunglasses just for continuity and lazy eye stuff and all that stuff, just hedging all that. Share this real quick. So I, for one, am very happy with the Walt Weiss hire. I know it wasn't clearly wasn't the popular choice. Danny Lehman was, and there is a lot of rumors and scuttlebutt that Terry McGurk was the ultimate decision maker in this, and Alex Anthopoulos had nothing to do with it. I think that part is the fact that the Alex Anthopoulos had nothing to do with it part. I think that's a little overkill. I think continuity matters. The relationships matter. From some people, Walt Weiss and Ronald Acuna Jr. are super tight. Obviously, that is crucial. Chipper Jones was in the front row of Walt's introductory press conference, which I think speaks volumes. And he did say that he will be more involved with the Braves this year. So, again, that speaks volumes as well. You had multiple players at the introductory press conference. Andrew Schwellenbach, Drake Baldwin, Jerickson Profar, to name a few. So I know there's reservations, and I know that people wanted new blood, and I understand that perspective. I really do. But it's going to come down to what we do with the roster and the players. And I think the players have bought in, and they believe that Walt Weiss gives us an extra fire that we haven't had under Snit. So I think the players have bought in. So I think as fans, hopefully we can as well. I bought in, but obviously we won't know until the results, and it's what have you done for me lately. But I really feel that Walt Weiss is a perfect mixture of snit and the willingness to use analytics and different things and information, any type of information, the old school and the new school. I think it's a very evolved thinking, and I am very excited to see how the process goes. Obviously, you can't win or lose a press conference, but I really feel like he said all the right things, and I'm really excited for it. His contract is 3 years plus a option for a fourth year. So I understand uh, the pushback. I was a little surprised that it was so much pushback, but I guess people really wanted Danny Lehman. And also, I understand that too, coming from the Dodgers, that winning pedigree and what they do, even though they have an unlimited checkbook, that's a little different than any other organization, but they put up and shut up. So you got to give them credit there. So I also understand that. Other news, Ozzy Albies option was picked up or will be picked up when that day officially comes. Definitely not surprising because you would have just saved $3 million if you didn't pick it up. Now some things could happen in different types of the off season trades or whatnot, but I doubt that'll happen. Plus, I really feel like Ozzy is a glue guy, so that is very important in itself. Um, so that is big as well. Um, got got a lot of opt-in, opt-out news. Obviously, Ha-Seong Kim opted out from his $16 million player option. Just a reason that the Braves do not do player options for the most part because it just we just don't like them. We've never done them, and we like as a team we like to have the ultimate decision making power. That doesn't mean that Ha-Seong Kim won't be back, but with the lack of star power in the shortstop market, I think he's probably the second best option outside of Bo Bichette. So his market could be robust for sure. And if we don't go that route, I'm not really sure where we go because I don't see us going for Bo Bichette. His projected number is 186, I believe, which if the Braves weren't going to pay Dansby Swanson 177, I don't think the 186 is an option. I probably get the highest I'd probably go for Ha-Seong Kim is 350, maybe 340, 350, 460, probably the highest I would go. Or we might have to get creative because Trevor Story, another thought option for me, opted in with the Boston Red Sox to the remainder of his contract. So that is interesting there. Some unfortunate news. Joe Jimenez is still dealing with that bulky knee. He had it scoped again. And he hasn't really done anything off the mound or whatnot. So he wouldn't be available for the start of the season. And the timetable is kind of unknown there. And with Raisel Iglesias on the free agent market now, that puts the bullpen in extra question. I believe that Tyler Kinley's $6 million option will be picked up as well as Pierce Johnson's $7 million option. But there is some unknowns in the bullpen as of now. They picked up Ozzy's option. I discussed that. It seems like a no-brainer to me. I mean, you're only going to save $3 million if you decline it. Ozzy seems like a glue guy to me. Obviously, things could happen, but I feel like that one was a no-brainer. And the reliever market got a little bit more robust with Robert Suarez of the San Diego Padres opting out of his 2-year $16 and Alexis Diaz opting out of the last 2 years of his contract with the Mets. I believe that was $238. And Raisel on the market could make that interesting as well. But with the Joe Jimenez injury, unfortunate news, we could be we need upgrades there anyway, I think, but we could be having to get more creative in that realm, which I would like us to anyway. And obviously the DH, I think it's most likely going to be Sean Murphy and Drake Baldwin, but if you want to upgrade there as well, I will be not very happy if Marcell Ozuna is back. I just think it's time to move on. Not that Marcell was great for the Braves, but the last couple of years and the fact that I think he vetoed 3 trades is kind of to me. So just I think new blood there would be nice. I obviously getting creative with the shortstop market, and I just don't think we can run it out with no, Chipper was never going to manage the Braves. Yeah, I did. I did. I thought I said Edwin Diaz for the Mets. Alexis Diaz, we declined his option, so he is a free agent. I apologize if I messed that up. Thank you, Joseph. Um, I I think Walt Weiss is fine. I think he's gonna be great. Um, and it seems like the players have already bought in. Um, so I think the fans need to too. I mean, everyone is allowed to have their opinions and things, but Ronald has an amazing relationship with Walt. Pierce Johnson already gave the stamp of approval. You've got Chipper Jones in the front row of the press conference, and people creating narratives that Alex Anthopoulos looked pissed at the press conference. I think that people are reading too much into that. Alex Anthopoulos said that it's absolute bananas that he didn't have, it wasn't his choice um, to bring Walt Weiss. And maybe Terry McGurk pushed it over the edge. I'm not trying to debate that, but saying that Alex Anthopoulos had nothing to do with it is a little crazy. To me, it just is. Um, but I think we're in really good hands. Obviously, upgrades need to happen in the roster, and if that doesn't happen, yeah, we don't know the coaching staff. Alex Anthopoulos said they're still discussing that with Walt Weiss. But somehow, based on Chipper's comments and things, he might be a really prominent piece of that. Just my speculation, based on his comments and the way he seemed to approach this. I think he could be a very prominent piece. I hope that Rick Kranitz is back, but other than that, we'll see what happens. We have a lot of good guys on our coaching staff from Snit's era, so I think it's because people think that AA isn't trying to improve the team, and Terry McGurk is making all the moves, not Alex Anthopoulos. And I think that they're like, he got lucky at the 2021 trade deadline. I I don't know. People create their own narratives, and I think people are just trying to be negative just to be negative. I don't know. Um, but last year, I mean, our entire pitching staff was injured. Austin Riley was injured for the majority. Ronald Acuna Jr. You got the Profar suspension. Like, there's just so many factors. And yes, did I want us to do more? Yeah, but it also takes two to tango on a deal, or two or three or four. You just don't know. We had deals in place for Jeff Hoffman. We had deals in place for Tanner Scott, and they just didn't work. So I'm not gonna sit here and yeah, I saw that for Kyle Wright. I wouldn't mind it if it's a minor league deal, but I honestly think that his shoulder is shot. Uh, he hasn't pitched since he left the Braves. Um, but if it's a low cost deal, I'm totally fine with it. I don't know. Um, the recycling of familiar faces, I don't necessarily mind, but it kind of a little bit clogs it to me. Um, but that is certainly an option. Shota Imanaga declined, well, after the Cubs declined his option, which I was very shocked by. So that's another piece on the market um, that could be very, very interesting. Um, I'm surprised that the Cubs did that. That's probably the biggest surprise of the opt in, opt out scenarios. It's going to be interesting to see how we play shortstop because we didn't go 177 with Dansby Swanson. Alex Lodisi is definitely not ready yet. I got confirmation of that he is not ready yet. So, yeah. He didn't officially retire. I don't think it's not officially official, but they'll list him as a free agent until it is officially official. I'm not sure how that works. Pretty sure he's retired, but I don't know if he's 1,000% said it. I don't know if you want to go down that road again, especially the way he reacted his last outing with the Pirates. I would assume he is retired, but things aren't official there. But yeah, I think shortstop is the biggest need and very interesting. Maybe a Willie Castro, but he's more of a utility. But Nacho Alvarez has been having himself a very productive Arizona Fall League. So has Patrick Closey with the speed. He could possibly be a DH option internally. So there's a lot to still unpack. But and I said that Walt Weiss's contract was 3 years plus a uh, I 2.5 probably. But the minor league guru that I talked to last night said that he's definitely not ready to take the step right now. He said his approach is too aggressive at this point, but that doesn't mean that because the Braves have been aggressive with their prospects, but I would say 2.5 years at the latest. Maybe a John Gill or one of our international free agents that took a bigger step forward this past season. Maybe they get more of a look. But it'll be interesting because I just don't think you can afford to have a Nick Allen in the lineup with the uncertainty of Ozzy's wrist and how much he had to work through to get back, and then unfortunately have it happen to him again. You can't have that many. I don't want to say black holes because that just sounds meaner than I mean it, but I think that's the reality. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. And I think obviously you can never have enough bullpen. as I spoke about. But you've got Alex Bregman opted out, Cody Bellinger opted out, Jack Flaherty opted in with the Tigers. I believe that was a $20 million option. Quintana opted out with the Brewers. So did Rhys Hoskins. Brandon Woodruff, I believe, had his declined. Yeah, Austin Riley coming back fully healthy will be very important as well. I believe Andrew Kittredge was traded back to the Orioles from the Cubs for cash considerations today as well. So I don't know if the Cubs are penny pinching or what they're doing, but quite interesting with the Shota Imanaga of it all. So they'll be interesting to monitor. But yeah, I'm really excited. Everybody seems really excited from the Brave perspective with the Walt Weiss of it all. And he managed the Rockies for 4 years, and he understands that you evolve as a person day after day and year after year. So he understands all that. I think he's a perfect blend of old school, new school. So I think there's not, and it's a 3-year contract. It's not like it's a 7 or 8 or any of those weird college football contracts. So I think it's just gonna depend on what the roster is and how the players perform. And as obvious as that sounds, we just had so many factors coming into the last couple of years. So 7 straight playoff appearances and a crappy year that was 2025. I don't think there is any worry to who knows how everything's going to play out, but trying to keep a positive mindset is probably the best thing we can all do. And that's what I'm going to try to do. And I'm really happy that Ozzy's back. And obviously, other things will take shape, and I will have all of that covered. But I think that the overreaction and wanting something new is never a bad thing. But sometimes just wanting change for the sake of change, as CJ Nikowski put it today, sometimes you're asking too much, and continuity does matter. It's always mattered to the Braves. And I don't think any of us could have predicted the amount of success that Brian Snitker had as Braves manager, and that we're only in our fourth manager since Bobby Cox retired. So I don't think it's. I just think everybody should wait and see before formulating an entire opinion, because there's not we don't know how everything's going to play out, but there are cornerstone pieces there. It's one of the best rosters in baseball. Obviously, the caveat is always health in any sport. But I am very Excited to see how it plays out. And if things tend to stay the same, I'll address that when and if it happens. But as you guys know, I don't like to speculate because I'm bad at it. But I can formulate a reaction when I see a move. That's my better calling card, as it were. Always has been. But I'm always gonna err on the side of positivity when it comes to my the Braves and my favorite teams, unless probably if I'm watching them currently, then I get annoyed quicker, and I should probably work on that. But that's just me watching them live. But um, being being negative at all right now doesn't serve any of a good purpose to me. So I'm gonna choose not to, and um, just look at the moves as they come, so to speak, and formulate it that way. And I think the Rays have fantastic foundation, fantastic mindset. And like I said, you can tell from the players' perspective talking about it. Former, current uh, Hall of Famers, they care. They think it's right. Um, so I'm not going to deny that. Plus, you've got a full year of Drake Baldwin coming. You possibly got a extra draft pick coming for the Rookie of the Year for Drake Baldwin. You've got Spencer Schwellenbach coming back. Grant Holmes. Rehab looks very solid. Chris Sale's still Chris Sale until he's not. And you've probably got a full year of Hurston Waldrop to watch him develop as well. So there's a lot more to be excited about than not. Yep. And I understand people's. Well, the only caveat I had with the Walt Weiss hire is if we were going to go an internal direction the entire time, why did it take so long to come to this decision? But due diligence and all that, I guess that factored in. Obviously, that's a little wonky, but I don't think it's that big of a deal for that perspective at all. So that was the only thing that caught me off guard a little bit. The timing and waiting so long, but hey, I don't know how a managerial process or any of that works. Honestly, I don't. So I'm gonna err on the side of I don't know anything about that and how the process is, and what is good due diligence, what is too quick, what is all that stuff. That's way above my head. So I'm going to go with that. Plus, if you're going with a first year manager, probably 4 out of every 5 are not going to be the Steven Vogt home run that he was with the Cleveland Guardians. So a first year manager and or first time or a new blood getting to know the personnel and the tendencies and the body language and all that stuff, that takes a while, and to understand how guys tick and what situations they thrive. I'm kind of taking this from Walt Weiss's press conference today. And now that he's been in our organization for so long, he understands the players and their personalities, and and things of that nature. And that's a big, 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 huge key. And I think that is going to be very, very welcome for the Braves. And I do think that Walt Weiss is going to get tossed a little bit more and have a little bit more fire than Brian Snitker did. And I think that's what fans have been clamoring for. But I really think that is going to be something to look forward to as well. The different personality and how he attacks game situations and things of that nature. And obviously, I don't really remember his days in Colorado, so this is going to be a fact-finding mission from the jump. But all I know is that Walt Weiss is a grade A human and bleeds Braves through and through, and is a World Series champion as a player, and he understands that ultimate grind and everything that is involved. So I think that is another factor as well. So I am completely on board. Obviously, the roster matters the most. Just some other quick notes. I believe Noah Wiles was released from the organization, right-handed pitcher. We saw him for a cup of coffee last year with all our injuries, but I think there is one more roster spot that needs to be opened up for all of the other guys that were on the 60-day to be put back on the 40-man roster. So the roster crunch has already begun, but that's not really a surprise. But again, the biggest questions: shortstop, bullpen, and maybe adding to the starting rotation, just because AJ Smith-Shawver won't be back until 2027, and you never know how that's gonna go. The depth and versatility of the roster, I think, is another thing I've been clamoring for a while. But as far as everything goes, I think the Braves have done a solid job, and I think creating narratives and things of that nature for Alex Anthopoulos and whatever, I think that is very overblown, and I think doing the due diligence of the process and the splitter, Waldrop's amazing, and the splitter is his best pitch, so he's going to, I think he's going to he's gonna rely on his splitter a lot, but just trusting his stuff more, yeah. But his splitter is gonna be at the top of that list regardless. And yeah, he needs to be able to go somewhere else. But you saw Trey Savage and those guys with their amazing splitters rely on it too. It's just the mixing and matching and the timing, and just to not fall into too many patterns. You're right, but when you're best, you gotta be confident in your best. You just do. And I get where you're coming from, but you can't shy away from your best either. But having the confidence to go other places and that development will be nice. And Spencer Strider coming off his injury and obviously like revamping and things of that nature will be interesting to watch as well. I think there's just a lot of interesting factors when it comes to the Braves pitching and the additions that hopefully we will make and how that impacts the roster this year and beyond. I think it's a delicate mix, but I am really excited for uh, that to see how that evolves, um, and to see if the depth and versatility of our roster will be addressed a little bit more. And the you want your guys to play every day, but if you see a better matchup, not be afraid to go to your bench or pinch it or things of that nature. So I think that's going to be a very um, critical storyline to follow this offseason. And obviously, everybody's nervous given that we didn't spend a lot last offseason and things of that nature. But I think based on the contracts coming off the books, we'd probably have around 65 million to spend if I'm just doing raw math about the contracts that are off the books now. So that is a pretty good chunk of change. It'll be interesting how that is spread out, obviously, and what we prioritize. And will it be through trade or just strictly signing? Who knows? But and obviously, I think the coaching staff being in place and seeing the relationships there, that'll probably formulate other things, relationships with certain players and the trickle down effects that tends to have. So that is pretty much all I have. I know I usually try to go to an hour, but I think that's all I got. And I will have everything covered, because I think we'll be having a lot of news. If Alex Anthopoulos' track record means anything, he likes to jump on things really, really early. So once the coaching staff's in place and things of that nature, I think you'll see some action, signings, trades, things of that nature. I know it's really early in the off season, but the winter meetings are December 7th through the 10th. So I think, and it could be a lot earlier than that because there's been a lot of moves that Alex Anthopoulos has made in this window of time because he likes to get a jump on the market price. So that could be definitely a big factor as well. And again, I will have that all covered. But as always, go Braves, champions forever. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps out a lot. Thanks, guys.